All right, y'all, so we back to discover more mysteries of this world. This next video we checking out, this one here is this rancher just sent out a chilling message after making this discovery on his private ranch. All right, so let's get to it. And remember, this is for entertainment purposes only. Let's check it out.
Number 20. Area 6. Have you heard about Area 51? Well, of course you have. It's probably one of the most talked about secret locations in the US, spawning countless conspiracy theories, sci-fi movies, and even that memorable Facebook event to storm Area 51.
Y'all notice them Winnebagos out there? We was just talking about that when we was talking about anti-gravity device or spacecrafts and stuff like that. I'm saying Winnebagos was there.
But what if I told you there's another off-the-grid location, lesser known, but equally intriguing? This isolated facility is known as Area 6. It's located in Yucca Flat, within the Nevada National Security Site, and if you look at it from an aerial view, it seems like an out-of-place structure. But unlike Area 51, which remains shrouded in mystery, Area 6 doesn't seem to be as secretive. Unlike Area 51, which is primarily managed by the US Air Force, Area 6 is overseen by the Department of Energy. The primary purpose of this location, as far as official records go, is to support the development and testing of the US Department of Homeland Security's operations. Specifically, the facility aids in the testing of sensors on drones, equipment that can detect radioactive material that might be used in dirty bombs or other malicious applications. And that 5,000-foot runway you see right there? They're actually for drones. These unmanned aerial vehicles can be seen taking off and landing, performing all sorts of maneuvers as they're tested in various scenarios. While we know the primary purpose of this facility, Area 6, just like Area 51, is a location that remains under the radar. Hopefully, this place won't get randomly invaded by Facebook users in the future. Before we go on,
Y'all believe that? Do they expect us to believe that? Because I'm of the belief, a lot of times, you hide in plain sight. So when you tell me, it's nothing suspicious going on here because they show it, no, they could still have a lot suspicious going on and be hiding in plain sight. Think about the genius in that, because you never suspected. But I'm on to them, bro. Ain't nobody gonna have that many Winnebagos outside like that. Who's there? Heisenberg? No. Something's going on there. And then you start talking about drones and different things. Yeah. I definitely, it's something there. Trust me.
Like this video, smash the subscribe button, and click the notification bell right now. Number 19. 500-year-old shipwreck with gold. In the vast stretches of the Namibian desert, where one would expect to only find sand dunes and perhaps some fauna that thrive in the desert, there lies a sight that baffles the imagination. A 500-year-old shipwreck. To come across the remnants of a ship in the middle of a desert is, without a doubt, one of the most unexpected finds one could imagine.
True.
I mean, can you imagine stumbling upon a shipwreck not in the middle of the ocean, but in the scorching hot sands of the desert? This particular shipwreck is known as the Bom Jesus, or Good Jesus. Dating back to the 16th century, it was a Portuguese ship that set sail in 1533, laden with a trove of gold coins, ivory, and other valuable goods. The ship and its crew were bound for India, but never reached their destination. So how did a ship destined for India end up in the Namibian desert? The prevailing theory is that the Bom Jesus faced turbulent waters and harsh conditions, causing it to sink near the coast of present-day Namibia. Over time, as the coastline shifted and the desert sands moved, the shipwreck was buried, moving further inland. It wasn't until 2008 that miners looking for diamonds in the area stumbled upon the ship's remains. What made this discovery even more remarkable was the condition of the artifacts. Due to the lack of oxygen under the sands, many items, including the ship's wood, were remarkably well preserved. Number 18.
Man, y'all gonna have everybody wanting to take a trip out to the desert to go look, right? Like, that got me wanting to just pack a few bags and emergency kits and everything I need to go in the desert and stuff and go out there and search, fam. Because think about that. If that happened to that ship, how many more do you think could possibly be out there? Now, by now, they're probably not in that area because I'm pretty sure they scoured that whole desert, especially when you start talking about finding gold. Oh, they almost probably started another gold rush. No. They looking. They scoured that whole place. They done probably brought in different types of radar to be able to scan the ground, different things and technology that we don't even know about. Shoot.
The Loneliest Tree. Now I want you to imagine yourself in the middle of the Sahara. It was vast and hot, and it seemed like a place filled with endless sand. After what seemed like hours of walking, you stumble upon a lone tree right in the middle of the desert. That's the Teneriffe tree, a solitary acacia that survived the harsh conditions of the desert for over 300 years. Or at least, that was the Teneriffe tree. The history of the Teneriffe tree is quite interesting. It was believed to be hundreds of years old, and its roots reached deep into the ground, almost 120 feet to tap into underground water reserves. This incredible adaptation is how the tree managed to survive in such a harsh and unforgiving environment. Unfortunately, as magical and fascinating as it sounds to see this tree in person, it's no longer in the desert. It was one of the things visited by many in the Sahara until 1973, when it met an untimely end when a truck driver accidentally knocked it down. It's hard to fathom how, in such a vast empty space, the lone tree could get hit, but alas, it did. The tree remnants were moved to the Niger National Museum in Niamey for people to remember this great organism. It's truly heartbreaking that a being hundreds of years old perished because of a single man's drunken mistake. Number 7.
Don't get me wrong, I love the history behind it, but that's trippy. That's too trippy. Did you see the dude laying on the branch and just looking up at that? I was getting real, like, trippy vibes. Like, I might have been, no. I get the history behind it and appreciate the history behind it. But when what was the decision to light it up like that? I don't get it. Wouldn't that be harming something you want to preserve because of its history? Why would you even do that? Real trippy vibes it gave me.
17. Phone booth in the Mojave.
Hey.
It's not every day you stumble upon a phone booth in the middle of nowhere, right? I mean, who would even use it? And who made the effort to install it in a place that only gets, at most, 100 visitors each year? That's why the Mojave phone booth, as it was popularly known, became an intriguing sight in the desert. But what exactly is it? Spoiler alert, it was first installed in the 1960s with the intention to serve the needs of local volcanic cinder miners and others who ventured or lived in that remote region. To most, its existence remained unknown until the 1990s, when a man named Godfrey Daniels came across its mention in a phone book and decided to visit it, and subsequently shared his experiences online. The booth's isolated location, coupled with its discovery in the internet age, spurred a lot of speculation and curiosity. People began to wonder, why was it there? Was it some secret government communication line? A prop left behind from a movie set? Or maybe an art installation? I hate to disappoint you, but we already know the truth. And it just might not be as fascinating as you think it is. The booth had a mundane origin, serving as an essential communication tool in an area without any other means. Yet, its rediscovery led to a sort of cult following. Adventurous individuals started making pilgrimages to the booth just to answer its sporadic rings, or to make a call from one of the most isolated phone booths on the planet. Sadly, the booth's newfound popularity also led to its demise. Concerns about environmental impact due to increased traffic in the area resulted in its removal in 2000 by the National Park Service. Number 16.
We should go back to using phone booths. Man, I miss phone booths. Some of y'all are fortunate enough, and I say fortunate, and I mean fortunate, because that's a time, like almost a time capsule in time of being able to, before cell phones, you stop at a phone booth. The thing on there said 35 cents. So trying to scruffle up some change and then having to put the change in. You ever been to one and you put the quarter in and then it come right out the bottom? You're like, oh, are you kidding me? And you keep trying to put it back in, to get it to work, try to finagle it in there softly and then it take it. Those were the times, man. Having that phone book in there. Oh man, getting mad and slamming one of those down because you've seen somebody do it in a movie. Phone booths, man, that was a time, bro, before cell phones. Phone booths, that nostalgic feeling. If I saw one in the middle of nowhere, I'm stopping and using it too. I don't care if I don't have nobody to call. I'm trying to call somebody just to use it. Remember they made the movie phone booth? And dude had to stay on the. Oh man, like y'all taking me back with that one. I love seeing that clip pop up all the time. Like that's just for nostalgic purposes for me.
15. The Slab City. For many, the idea of a place entirely off the grid, away from the hustle and bustle of modern civilization and devoid of traditional governance, might seem like something from a dystopian novel. But did you know there's a place that somewhat fits that description in the US? Nestled deep in the California desert near the Salton Sea, Slab City is often dubbed the last free place in America. It's an unexpected sight for first-time visitors. Imagine an expansive stretch of land scattered with trailers, RVs, art installations, and makeshift homes, all sitting on a foundation of concrete slabs. There's no electricity, sewage system, or running water here. Residents rely on solar panels, generators, and their own resourcefulness. Now you're probably wondering how this city came to be. The land where Slab City now sits was once Camp Dunlap, a World War II Marine Corps training base. Established in the 1940s, this camp played its part in the broader war effort, preparing Marines for their overseas assignments. By the mid-1950s, the base was decommissioned, and the military structures were torn down, leaving behind only the concrete slabs that had once formed the foundations of the base buildings. It's these very slabs that would later give Slab City its name. Initially, after the base was abandoned, retirees known as snowbirds began to use the area as a free winter campground. Over time, its reputation as a free spot grew, drawing in a wider range of people. By the 1980s and 1990s, this place had become the free paradise people have come to know today. Number 15.
I was with them until they said no electricity, running water, sewage, anything like that, man. You know what I mean? At that point, I got an exit stage left because I feel like eventually we possibly could come to that. Little individual man-made cities scattered throughout the whole country. Like, I don't know why that just rang out in my head and that spoke to me like that. But if it does come to that, we got to figure something out. Some kind of way to, like, have electricity, running water, sewage, different things like that. So maybe that city is still in the beginning stages and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But I need to be just a little bit progressive.
The Hand in the Sand. In the vast expanses of Chile's Atacama Desert, one of the driest places on Earth, there's a sight that might make you do a double take, a gigantic hand emerging from the sand. At first glance, it's easy to wonder if this is some ancient relic or natural formation, but it's actually a masterpiece of modern art. Known as La Mano del Desierto, or the Hand of the Desert, this sculpture stands 36 feet tall and depicts a hand with fingers stretching towards the sky. This curious sculpture was created by the Chilean sculptor Mario Irarrázaval in 1992. The piece is both proof of human artistic expression and a reflection on human vulnerability and nature's vastness. Positioned amidst the barren desert landscape, the hand not only captures the attention of those who pass by, but also evoke a range of emotions. It can be seen as a symbol of hope, a hand reaching out for help, or even a marker of humanity amid nature's overwhelming vastness. Number 14. Town being eaten away by sand. Kolmanskop is a ghost town located a short distance from the port town of Luderitz. At the beginning of the 20th century, you probably wouldn't even think this desolate place would be Kolmanskop's future. You see, in its heyday, this place was bustling and affluent, and here's why. Diamonds. In 1908, a worker found a diamond in the area, which triggered a rush. People flocked to Kolmanskop, hoping to find their fortune, and for a while, many did. The town quickly developed, boasting amenities that were rather luxurious for its time and location, like a hospital, ballroom, power station, and even the first X-ray station in the southern hemisphere. But as with many resource-driven towns, its fortune was tied to that of the diamonds. By the 1930s, the diamonds were depleted, and richer deposits were discovered further south. The town's population began to decline. By the 1950s, Kolmanskop was abandoned and left for the desert to reclaim. Today, sand fills the interiors of once grand houses. However, it does get occasional visitors who come by the area to take photos of the town. After all, in the future, the sands of time will completely bury any traces of this once bustling town full of life. Number 3.
See, that's sad. That's what I was talking about earlier with the shipwreck and the gold found. You'll cause a gold rush, and although in the beginning it'll seem great, the town will flourish and build off of it, and then eventually it's left abandoned. And the people trying to keep everything together and watching their businesses dwindle back down, and the town will become a ghost town and stuff like that. Like I'm saying, you have to take the good with the bad. So enjoy the good years while you have it. But just know in the future, it could potentially, if you don't find a reason to keep them people there, it can potentially turn into a ghost town like this. That's exactly what I was thinking about with that shipwreck earlier, man. Stuff get out, people swarm in, and once it serves its purpose and they no longer can find what they're there for, they're gone. They don't care about no town or no city or no people or no history or nothing like that. They're out. They were only there in the beginning for selfish gain.
13. North Korean ghost ships. For many living along the coastlines of Japan, discovering boats washing up on the shores is not uncommon. However, there are particular boats that warrant worry from those who stumble upon them. Ghost ships from North Korea, which we all know is recognized as one of the most powerful countries in the world. These derelict boats, often found with no living crew on board, have sparked curiosity and concern. Sometimes they contain only personal belongings, fishing equipment, or in more distressing cases, the remains of North Korean fishermen. Many speculate these ships belong to North Korean fishermen pushed to their limits. Facing immense pressure to deliver larger catches due to food shortages and the regime's demands, these fishermen might take more significant risks, venturing further into the sea in less than ideal boats. Unfortunately, the combination of rough seas, ill-equipped vessels, and lack of proper training or experience can lead to tragedies. When the currents and winds are unfavorable, these vessels can drift uncontrollably, ending up across the Sea of Japan. The vast distance and the perilous journey means that not everyone can make it, leading to the grim discoveries on the Japanese coast. Number 12. Roman swords. Within a cave in the vicinity of the Dead Sea, 4 1,900-year-old swords were found remarkably well preserved. Given the age of the swords, their condition is nothing short of astonishing. The dry and stable climate of the region played a pivotal role in preserving these artifacts, allowing us a rare glimpse into the past. These swords date back to a tumultuous period, around the Jewish revolts against the Roman Empire. Their presence in a remote cave hints at possible scenarios. Were they hidden by rebels seeking refuge? Were they part of a cache meant for a future battle? Well, we may discover the answer in future research. Number 11.
I guess that's something I never really thought about, I'm always enamored with the history of a sword and how well preserved it was due to whatever condition it is in. I've seen instances with swords where they've been underwater for a long period of time and were well preserved. This example here, being in a cave, dug deep, trapped up by sand or whatever, and they uncover it and it's well preserved. So I've always been enamored with that. Not thinking of what the history of that sword is tied to. When you think about it, it could have been involved in a war. It could have slain people. It could have, you know what I'm saying? It could, and how many people? So hearing them talk about that being connected to something in the past in history, it's just like, whoa. Because I've always been like, man, that's cool. I wouldn't mind coming across an old sword or something, or having one of those in my possession, or collection, or starting like a sword collection or something like that from the past. But then that kind of snapped me out of it, thinking about what it could have done or what that sword could have done to some people. Yeah, I'm off of that high now. Thank y'all for snapping me back into reality.
Neolithic Shrine. Located in the remote and rugged regions of Jordan's eastern desert, archaeologists stumbled upon this Neolithic site, giving us a peek into spiritual practices from around 7,000 years ago. This discovery is vital as it sheds light on the spiritual and communal activities of societies from a time when humans were transitioning from hunter-gatherer lifestyles to settled agricultural communities. The shrine itself comprises a large set of standing stones, some of which are engraved with intricate drawings of humans and animals. The very presence of these stones in such an arid landscape is baffling and captivating. Who were the people who erected these stones? And what significance did they hold? While the exact purpose of the shrine remains a subject of research, preliminary theories suggest that it might have been a communal gathering spot, possibly for religious rituals or even astronomical observations. The meticulous placement of the stones and the detailed engravings hint at a society with both the time and the inclination to engage in activities beyond mere survival. Number 10. The oldest carpet in the world. When we think of ancient artifacts, we might imagine pottery, tools, or even jewelry. But in the 1900s, researchers found something unexpected, a carpet soon known as the oldest in the world, known as the Pazyryk carpet. It was found in the Altai Mountains of Siberia in the 1940s and preserved in the frozen tombs of the Pazyryk Valley. The carpet dates back to the 5th century BC, making it over 2,500 years old. The cold conditions of the burial site ensured that the carpet, along with many other artifacts, remained incredibly well preserved over the millennia. The Pazyryk carpet is not only remarkable for its age, but also for its intricate craftsmanship. Measuring about 6 by 6.5 feet, it boasts a rich assortment of colors and detailed designs, showcasing the advanced textile techniques of its creators. The designs include geometric patterns, riders on horseback, and various animals in combat. These motifs offer insights into the culture, beliefs, and daily life of the Pazyryk people.
Never really thought about that with a carpet. Like they said earlier, you hear always about, pottery, different things, jewelry, all other kind of stuff that we found. This is the first time I've ever been presented with carpet. You know what I mean? Carpet, something we take for granted today. Carpet. We all have area rugs or something in our house, but do you see the detail that they put into that? So I automatically go to how? How were they able to come up with that and do that and produce that and give that out? Hey, I never thought about that, man. Carpet. Like we're really talking about carpet with history. Wow.
9. 50-foot snake.
Here we go.
In the 1950s, while on a helicopter mission over the Congo, Colonel Van Lierde reportedly spotted an enormous snake emerging from the forest. He estimated the snake to be around 50 feet long, with a triangular-shaped jaw. But it wasn't just a fleeting glimpse. Van Lierde was so taken aback by the size of this reptile that he circled back and even took photographs, capturing this beast on film. Now, a 50-foot snake is no small matter.
No.
To put it in perspective, the largest verified snakes, like the anaconda or the python, max out at about 30 feet. Another 20 feet in length is a big deal. If Van Lierd's claims are accurate, this Congo giant would easily be the largest snake ever documented. While the photos taken by Van Lierde show a massive snake, exact size measurements based on those images have been a subject of debate. So it's either there truly is a behemoth of a reptile lurking in the wilderness of the Republic of Congo, or the photo captured by Van Lierde was just misguided or exaggerated. Well, for our sake, I sure hope it's the latter. Number 8.
Exactly. And then you see the way that man walked out of the woods? He crazy. Ain't no way. He could have stepped in some water, a little creek, pond, or something like that, and they be up under the water, and you can't even see them. The water be dark and murky and stuff like that. You don't even know they're in there. A little head may pop up, and you don't even see it. Nah, fam. No. That's the reason why, right there. No, you can't get me in no jungle, no Amazon, no nothing.
Tree climbing goats. Now, I don't know about you, but I've always found goats to be pretty adorable creatures. Their brains seem to lag most of the time, and even these creatures themselves look like they don't know what they're doing 90% of the time. Now, you might think they only remain on the ground, chewing on grass, but did you know that they can actually climb trees? Some goats in southwest Morocco possess a lesser-known skill. They can effortlessly scale trees, even those as tall as 30 feet, and nimbly perch on slender branches that seem too fragile to hold their weight. It looks like a comical sight, but the truth is much simpler. This peculiar behavior is most common in areas where food is scarce, and these goats are particularly drawn to the delicious fruit produced by argan trees. Observing their acrobatics is a surreal display that appears to challenge the laws of physics. In a way, you can see humans are also the same. Just as these goats muster their energy for activities they enjoy, we too tend to exert effort when motivated by our preferences and passions. Number 7.
See, this is why we need to know these things. Because if I'm driving down the street and I pull up on a tree that has goats just standing all over there with no type of backstory or anything like that, man, I'm losing my mind. I'm calling all news outlets. I'm going crazy. I'm like, oh, this is a sign of something. I'm looking in the sky trying to see if something's going on, something about to happen to our planet. What are they trying to tell us? That's what I would have been thinking. All just to find out These jokers, foods is scarce, so these jokers is climbing trees and finding food, something that we would do. Go to great lengths to make sure our stomach is full. Yeah. I'm glad that came with some backstory now, finally.
Ponyhenge. If you've taken a stroll in the countryside of Lincoln, Massachusetts, then perhaps you've already stumbled upon this incredibly bizarre sight that looks like something straight out of a B horror movie. A circle of old horse figurines facing inwards, making them look like a makeshift altar. This bizarre formation is known as the Ponyhenge. Now, while it looks horrifying, its origin isn't really a mystery. It started quite innocently when a couple of old rocking horses were left on a plot of land, seemingly abandoned. Over time, more and more horse toys began to appear, added by anonymous contributions. The collection grew, and so did its arrangement, with the horses sometimes placed in a circle, in rows, or even as if they were racing. Quite the fun and harmless inside joke. Number 6. Great Train Graveyard. Now, a train would probably be the last thing you'd expect to see in the middle of the desert, but in Bolivia, near the dusty town of Uyuni, there is a train cemetery. Here, amid the desert landscape, you'll find the rusting remnants of locomotives and rail cars that date back to the early 20th century. But why here, in the middle of a desert? Well, Uyuni was once a bustling railway hub, connecting Bolivia's mines with ports on the Pacific Ocean. These trains played a pivotal role in transporting minerals, especially during the mining boom in the 1920s and 1930s. However, as the mines eventually depleted and alternative transportation methods emerged, the significance of these rail routes diminished. By the mid-20th century, many of these trains were decommissioned. Instead of being dismantled, they were left to the mercy of the elements, resulting in this vast, eerie graveyard. The salt winds and the desert sun have since worked their magic, corroding the metal and giving these locomotives a haunting skeletal appearance. Today, these trains are only visited by photographers and the occasional travelers who are into dark tourism.
I can't believe we let that deteriorate like that, man. We should have built some type of, structures over top of them, enclosed them in, man. Turn that into like a museum. That's history there. It has a lot of history attached to it. Meaning, you know what I mean? I see stuff like that, I instantly in my mind go, museum, be great for a museum, tell a history, tell a story. What does that in turn do? Provide jobs for people, different opportunities and stuff like that. Like, that's what we should be doing. Instead of that stuff is sitting out there and it's slowly deteriorating, and next decade or so like that, it'll be even worse. And then further after that, it'll be non-existent. Like, come on, man. We shouldn't let our history go to waste like that. Is it just me? Should I just shut up about it and just go on? Or y'all feel the same way?
5. Traveler's Monument. Located in the Mojave Desert along the Mojave Road, the Traveler's Monument is one of those unique roadside attractions that has become a modern lore. It's essentially a large cairn, a human-made pile of rocks, but it's the tradition surrounding it that makes it unique. The unwritten rule? If you come across the monument while traveling the Mojave Road, you add a rock to the pile. Simple, right? But it's this act of collective contribution that has made the monument grow over time, symbolizing the shared journey of countless travelers through this rugged landscape. Now, about that mysterious plaque, well, I won't reveal the secret to you. Not that I even know what it says. Those who make the journey and contribute a stone are encouraged to read the message on it, but there's a code among travelers to keep its message a secret, shared only with those who have made the trek themselves. You see, even if you search for this hidden message on the internet, you won't really find a definitive answer. If you try your luck in online forums, you'll see people claiming that taking photos wasn't allowed to keep the secret message hidden. However, they say that traveling all the way to the monument is worth it though. Would you make the trip to this monument just to discover the hidden message? Number 4. The Murray Man. If you fly over the vast landscapes of Australia, you just might see a giant figure etched into the earth. At first glance, you might mistake it for an ancient geoglyph reminiscent of the Nazca lines in Peru. But what you're seeing is the Murray Man. The Murray Man, located near the town of Murray in South Australia, is an impressive modern geoglyph, with the figure being 1.7 miles tall with a perimeter of 17 miles. This depiction of an indigenous Australian man holding a boomerang is not just vast, but incredibly detailed, making it visible even from space. It was first discovered by Trek Smith, a charter pilot flying between Murray and Coober Pedy on June 26, 1998. Since its discovery, many have wondered about where it came from. While it looks like an ancient geoglyph, many believe that it was made by Bardius Goldberg, a North Territory artist who lived in Alice Springs. The artist died in 2002, and he neither confirmed nor denied being the artist behind the Mari Man. And so to this day, the creator and purpose of this big modern geoglyph remains a mystery. Number 3. Film City. Imagine you're walking through the desert. In the distance, you see what looks like a small town, but when you finally reach it, you're welcomed by a place devoid of life, and what you thought were homes turned out to be fakes. This is Film City. This faux village is located in the Qatari desert. This place is complete with mud brick buildings, mosques, and archways, and appears like an ancient settlement plucked straight out of a historical film. And that's precisely the point. Film City was built as a film set, hence its name. They were used primarily for Arabic television shows and films. Over the years, after serving its cinematic purpose, Film City became a popular off-road destination for tourists. After all, it's a place that'll make you feel as if you've been sent back in time. In fact, some of you viewers might have already visited. If you did, feel free to share your experience in the comments down below. Number 2.
Now, I don't see too many cities nearby, but they may or may not be. I don't know. I've never been there. But when you see something like that, I'd be like, man, wouldn't it be dope after the end of the filming of the movie or whatever they filmed to like take that and like donate it or allow maybe homeless or people less fortunate that don't have a place to stay. You know what I'm saying? Give them some shelter for however months, help them and bring in some different agencies to help them, groom them for jobs and different things. Like you could do so much with that. I wonder if we have stuff like that here where they build sets and stuff like that and then turn around and abandon them. We could put, you know, those who are really looking to just get themselves together for opportunity, you know what I mean? Because not everybody who's homeless is looking for, you got some people are just out there just manipulative. You know what I mean? So the ones who are in a messed up situation and just need some help, need some time, assistance and stuff like that, maybe bring different organizations in there and help people progress and get back on the right track, man. That'd be super dope to me.
A country or an oil rig. In the vast expanse of the North Sea, where one might expect to find only oil rigs and ships, there's an unexpected place. A self-proclaimed country on an old oil platform. This intriguing place is known as the Principality of Sealand. Sealand's story began in the 1960s with Roy Bates, a former British Army major. Bates took over an abandoned World War II anti-aircraft platform known as Ruff's Tower, which was situated in international waters off the coast of England. There, in an old oil rig, Bates lived with his family. In 1975, he declared it the independent Principality of Sealand, with himself as the prince. Well, there wasn't really anyone who stopped him initially, but sticking true to his claim had its own challenges. Over the years, Sealand faced various legal battles, attempted coups, and even confrontations with the British Navy. Yet, with the clever use of legal loopholes, the Bates family managed to maintain their claim on the platform. Today, Sealand markets itself as the world's smallest country, although it's not officially recognized by an established sovereign state or international organization. The platform includes living accommodations, and the Bates family has even issued Sealand passports and stamps, and they've minted their own coins. So what do you think about Sealand? Did Roy Bates make an immature decision? Let me know what you think in the comments. And now, it's time for today's topic. This rancher just sent out a chilling message after making this discovery on his private ranch. The man was doing his routine visit around the perimeter of his property when he saw a chilling sight: dozens of dead wild boar. He couldn't believe his eyes. He
First thing coming to my mind is aliens.
approached one, examining it closely, but found no wounds, no signs of being shot, and not a single clue as to how the wild animals had met their mysterious demise. It seemed like the four-legged beasts simply dropped dead. He knew that cleaning up and solving the mystery would be too much on his own, and so he shared his experience on the internet and called up experts to hopefully learn the truth behind this bizarre occurrence. But upon arriving at the scene, even experts were at a loss as to what truly happened. Some claimed that perhaps the wild boar was infected by some sort of disease. Maybe dehydration and the relentless scorching heat pushed them to the brink of death. Yet, there lingered a haunting suspicion that something far more sinister had cast its shadow over the fate of these animals. So, any theories? Number
I'm
one.
glad somebody as trustworthy as him and has a good soul and spirit found them. Other people would have saw that as an opportunity to try to come up. They'd have been like, oh, you see all this boar meat? We can package, we can cut them up, skin them down, break them down, do all this type of stuff, sell this meat. And then you turn around and have all these recalls and people get, no. I'm glad that man was good and he called the right people and had them come out and figured out it was something going on there, something wrong.
1. Bizarre Middle Eastern circles. If you fly across the arid landscapes of the Middle East, particularly in Jordan, Syria, and Saudi Arabia, you might see bizarre wheel-like circles on the ground. These geoglyphs are often in the middle of nowhere, in a place where it's hard to imagine their purpose. These are often called the desert kites, or in simpler terms, the big circles. These ancient patterns, some of which span over 1,300 feet in diameter, remain an enigma to archaeologists and historians. The true purpose, age, and origins of these formations are topics of ongoing research and speculation. Crafted from local stones and hardly noticeable at ground level, these circles become visible only from the air. This raises questions about their intended purpose. Given that they were created long before the age of flight, were they designed to be observed from a higher vantage point, or did they serve a functional purpose on the ground? Some theories suggest they might have had a ritualistic or astronomical significance. Others posit they could have been used for agricultural or pastoral purposes, perhaps as animal corrals. There are also theories that these might be remnants of burial sites, or were used for some form of territorial marking. However, these are all speculations, and definitive answers remain elusive. Which of these discoveries
That's what I be thinking when I see stuff like Stonehenge and different little things like that. I be thinking the same thing, like, okay, are these like burial plots? Are these like Indian burials or different things like that? Then I go to think about Pet Cemetery and all these kind of other things. Yeah, it never leads down a good path. You know what I'm saying? I always choose the bad rabbit hole to go down with my mind. And it takes me down that one. You know what I mean? But anyway, listen, y'all get at me in the comment section, man. And let me know what you thought about some of these discoveries of the world, bro. Truly fascinating beyond belief, in my opinion. Y'all stick around and stay tuned. Till next one, I'm gone.